This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. The Mariner of St. Malo, a Chronicle of the Voyages of Jacques Cartier by Stephen Leacock. Chapter 10. Itinerary of Cartier's Voyages. Chronicles of Canada Series, Volume 2. Adapted from Baxter's Memoir of Jacques Cartier. Voyage of 1534. April 20, Monday. Cartier leaves St. Malo. May 10, Sunday. Arrives at Bonavista. May 21, Thursday. Reaches Isle of Birds. May 24, Sunday. Enters the harbour of Kirpon. June 9, Tuesday. Leaves Kirpon. June 10, Wednesday. Enters the harbour of Brest. June 11, Thursday. St. Barnabas Day. Hears Mass and explores coast in boats. June 12, Friday. Names St. Antoine, Servant. Plants cross and names river St. Jacques and harbour Jacques Cartier. June 13, Saturday. Returns to ships. June 14, Sunday. Hears Mass. June 15, Monday. Sails toward north coast of Newfoundland. June 16, Tuesday. Follows the west coast of Newfoundland and names the Mont des Granches. June 17, Wednesday. Names the Colombier, Bay St. Julien, and Capes Royal and Milk. June 18, Thursday. Stormy weather to 24th. Explores coast between Capes Royal and Milk. June 24, Wednesday. Festival of Saint Jean the Baptist. Names Cape St. John. June 25, Thursday, and June 26, Friday. Weather bad. Sails towards the west and southwest. Discovers Ile Margot, Brion, and Cape Dauphin. June 27, Saturday. Coasts toward west-southwest. June 28, Sunday. Reaches Cape Rouge. June 29, Monday. Festival of St. Peter. Names Alizé and Cape St. Peter and continues course west-southwest. June 30, Tuesday. Towards evening describes land appearing like two islands. July 1, Wednesday. Names Capes Orléans and Sauvage. July 2, Thursday. Names Bay St. Leonarius. July 3, Friday. Continues northerly coast and names Cape Hope. July 4, Saturday. Arrives at Port Daniel, remains there until 12th. July 16, Thursday. Enters Gaspé Bay and remains until 25th on account of storm. July 22, Wednesday. Lands and meets savages. July 24, Friday. Plants across. July 25, Saturday. Sets sail with good wind toward Anticosti. July 27, Monday. Approaches coast. July 28, Tuesday. Names Cape St. Louis. July 29, Wednesday. Names Cape Montmorency and doubles East Cape of Anticosti. August 1, Saturday. Sights northern shore of the Gulf of St. Lawrence. August 8, Saturday. Approaches west coast of Newfoundland. August 9, Sunday. Arrives at Blanc-Sablon and makes preparations to return home. August 15, Saturday. Festival of the Assumption. Hears Mass and sets sail for France. September 5, Saturday. Arrives at St. Malo. Second Voyage, 1535. May 16, Sunday. First Pentecost. The crew commune at Cathedral and receive episcopal benediction. May 19, Wednesday. Departure from St. Malo. May 26, Wednesday. Contrary winds. June 25, Friday. Ships separated by storm. July 7, Wednesday. Cartier reaches the Isle of Birds. July 8, Thursday. Enters Strait of Belle Isle. July 15, Thursday. Reaches the rendezvous at Blanc-Sablon. July 26, Monday. Ships meet. July 29, Thursday. Follows north coast and names Ile St. William. July 30, Friday. Names Ile St. Marty. July 31, Saturday. Names Cape St. Germain. August 1, Sunday. Contrary winds. Enters St. Nicholas Harbour. August 8, Sunday. sails toward the southern coast. August 9, Monday, contrary wind, turns toward north and stops in Bay St Lawrence. August 13, Friday, leaves Bay St Lawrence, approaches Anticosti, and doubles the western point. August 15, Sunday, Festival of the Assumption, names Anticosti Isle of the Assumption. August 16, Monday, continues along coast. August 17, Tuesday, turns towards the north. August 19, Thursday, arrives at the Seven Islands. August 20, Friday, ranges coast with his boats. August 21, Saturday, sails west but obliged to return to the Seven Islands owing to headwinds. August 24, Tuesday, leaves the Seven Islands and sets sail towards south. August 29, Sunday, martyrdom of Saint Jean Baptist. Reaches harbour of Ile Saint Jean. September 1, Wednesday, quits the harbour and directs his course towards the Saguenay. September 2, Thursday, leaves the Saguenay and reaches the Bic Islands. September 6, Monday, arrives at Ile aux Coudres. September 7, Tuesday, reaches Island of Orleans. September 9, Thursday, Donnacona visits Cartier. September 13, Monday, sails toward the river St Charles. September 14, Tuesday, Exaltation of the Holy Cross, reaches entrance of St Charles River. September 15, Wednesday, plants buoys to guide his ships. September 16, Thursday, 2 ships are laid up for the winter. September 17, Friday, Donnacona tries to dissuade Cartier from going to Hochelaga. September 18, Saturday, Donnacona's stratagem to deter Cartier from going to Stadacona. September 19, Sunday, Cartier starts for Hochelaga with his pinnace and 2 boats. September 28, Tuesday, enters Lake St Peter. September 29, Wednesday, leaves his pinnace and proceeds with his boats. October 2, Saturday, arrives at Hochelaga. October 3, Sunday, lands and visits town and mountain, which he named Mont Royal, and leaves Sunday. October 4, Monday, regains his pinnace. October 5, Tuesday, takes his way back to Stadacona. October 7, Thursday, stops at 3 Rivers and plants cross upon an island. October 11, Monday, arrives at the anchorage beside Stadacona. October 12, Tuesday, Donnacona visits Cartier. October 13, Wednesday, Cartier and some of his men visit Stadacona. 1536. April 16, Sunday, Easter Sunday, the river clears of ice. April 22, Saturday, Donnacona visits Cartier with large number of savages. April 28, Friday, Cartier sends Guyot to Stadacona. May 3, Wednesday, Festival of the Holy Cross, a cross planted, Cartier seizes Donnacona. May 5, Friday, the people of Stadacona bring provisions for Cartier's captives. May 6, Saturday, Cartier sails. May 7, Sunday, arrives at Ile aux Coudres. May 15, Monday, exchanges presents with the savages. May 22, Monday, reaches Ile Brion. May 25, Thursday, Festival of the Ascension, reaches a low, sandy island. May 26, Friday, returns to Ile Brion. June 1, Thursday, names Capes Lorraine and St Paul. June 4, Sunday, 4th of Pentecost, names harbour of Saint Esprit. June 6, Tuesday, departs from the harbour of Saint Esprit. June 11, Sunday, St Barnabas Day, at Ile Saint Pierre. June 16, Friday, departs from Ile Saint Pierre and makes harbour at Rouge-Nousse. June 19, Monday, leaves Rouge-Nousse and sails for home. July 6, Friday, reaches St Malo. Third voyage, 1541. May 23, Monday, Cartier leaves St Malo with 5 ships. August 23, Tuesday, arrives before Stadacona. August 25, Thursday, lands artillery. September 2, Friday, sends 2 of his ships home. September 7, Wednesday, sets out for Hochelaga. September 11, Sunday, arrives at Lachine Rapids. The rest of the voyage is unknown. End of chapter 10. End of The Mariner of St Malo, a Chronicle of the Voyages of Jacques Cartier, by Stephen Leacock.